Imagine stepping outside your door into a space where walls of green pour over every edge and rail, wrapping you inside a hidden slice of paradise built entirely from pots. It sounds like something reserved for grand estates or professional landscapers. But I promise you, the secret is far simpler than you think. You do not need acres of land. You do not need a decade of trial and error. All you need is a container, some sunlight, and the willingness to welcome a little wildness into your life. Today, I am walking you through 17 specific climbing plants that behave like they are on a mission when confined to a pot. They are fast, they are resilient, and they are visually stunning. And because I believe in rewarding patience, I have tucked away a bonus 18th pick near the finish line that grows with such aggressive beauty, it might just redefine your entire view of balcony gardening. Here is the roadmap for our time together. By the time we wrap up, you will possess a crystal clear understanding of which specific vines thrive under container stress, how to unlock explosive upward momentum, and which one among the bunch requires so little babysitting that you can practically ignore it and still watch it soar. If you find value in turning concrete jungles into actual ones, hit that thumbs up icon and join the MI channel family by subscribing. That simple click ensures these strategies reach more people just like you, and it fuels my ability to keep digging up the knowledge you need. And I genuinely want to know, what is the one climbing plant you have always been afraid to try? Or perhaps you already have a champion growing on your fire escape? Drop that in the comments below. This community is built on shared success and shared stumbles, and I learn just as much from your experiments as you do from mine. Whether your goal is to screen out an annoying neighbor view, soften a harsh architectural line, or create a cascade of color that spills over the lip of a terracotta urn, these living tools are exactly what the job requires. And listen closely. Do not click away halfway through. The grand finale bonus entry is one of those plants that makes people stop mid-conversation and ask, "What on earth is that?" We begin the countdown with a classic first impression artist, Morning Glory. This is the poster child for container ambition, recognized instantly by those elegant, heart-shaped leaves and the ephemeral trumpet-like blooms that unfurl only when the day is new and bright. Confined to a pot, provided you give it a simple bamboo teepee or a wire railing to tangle with, Morning Glory operates on a timeline of weeks, not months. It can paint a barren corner into a living tapestry of blues, purples, and soft whites faster than almost any other seed you can scatter. The container advantage here is the immediate establishment. Despite the cramped quarters for its roots, it charges skyward with relentless energy, demanding only full solar exposure and consistent moisture. Quick advice: do not wait for the vine to find its own way. Guide it early with a gentle hand, and the climb becomes a cooperative dance rather than a scramble. And while the daily bloom show is a joy, you might find yourself craving something that doesn't pack up its petals when winter rolls around. That brings us to number 2. English ivy. This is the dependable evergreen backbone of the container climber world. Ivy does not distract with flowers, it dominates with texture. It is a vigorous force that, once rooted in a pot, will drape downward in sophisticated cascades or adhere stubbornly upward against any rough surface you provide. The real beauty of English ivy lies in its defiance of shade. Have a north-facing balcony that gets only the barest hint of sunlight? This is your champion. Look for varieties marbled with cream or gold to bring light into those dim corners without ever waiting for a bloom. Here is a crucial nugget of wisdom. Do not be afraid of the shears. Ivy has the heart of a conqueror. Regular pruning is not maintenance. It is negotiation. Keep it in check, and you own a permanent green wall. But maybe your soul craves not just the sight of green, but the smell of paradise. Let's pivot to number 3. Star Jasmine, or as some know it, Confederate Jasmine. We are entering the realm of the olfactory now. The visual of glossy, deep green leaves is merely the opening act. The headliner is the cloud of star-shaped white flowers that emit a fragrance so potent and sweet, it turns a 2x4-foot balcony into a perfumery. In a container with a trellis that allows it to twine and twist, Star Jasmine climbs with purpose and delivers a sensory payoff that few other plants can match for the effort required. It is a sun worshipper but will tolerate a bit of afternoon respite. Keep the soil consistently damp and let the support structure do the rest. Pro tip: position this pot right next to the window you keep open in the evening. That is when the scent deepens and becomes an almost tangible presence in the night air. And if you think jasmine is the peak of drama, brace yourself for number 4, Bougainvillea. This plant doesn't just climb, it detonates. We are talking about a riot of colour courtesy of papery bracts that smother the plant in neon pinks, scorching oranges, and deep royal purples. When you pot up a bougainvillea and place it under the relentless hammer of full sun, you are not gardening. You are curating a piece of the Mediterranean coastline. It is astonishingly fast when it finds its footing, wrapping around iron railings and creating a privacy screen that looks like a paint factory explosion. And here is the beautiful twist. It thrives on a little neglect. It is drought hardy. Soak it, let it dry out completely, and repeat. The more you starve it of water, the more intense the colour display becomes. Ensure your container is heavy and sturdy. This one likes to throw its weight around. We transition now from the brashness of Bougainvillea to the refined elegance of number 5, Clematis. Often crowned the royalty of the climbing world, Clematis offers a catalogue of flower forms so diverse it is dizzying. From massive plate-sized blooms in velvet purple to delicate nodding bells of white, Clematis trained up an obelisk in a pot brings a vertical dimension of bloom that feels almost sculptural. The long performance season is the real draw here. You can sequence different varieties to have a clematis in flower from the first blush of spring right through the dog days of late summer. There is a specific trick to contain a clematis success. Keep the feet cool. Think of it like wearing a sun hat, but having your feet in an ice bath. Mulch the surface heavily, or plant a low, sprawling annual around the base of the pot to shade the root zone. The energy will then shoot straight up to those magnificent blooms. And speaking of magnificent energy, the next contender is known for its ability to summon flying jewels to your window. Number 6 is the trumpet vine, or campsis. This is an extrovert of a plant. The blooms are clusters of fiery tubular trumpets, the kind of red-orange gradient that looks like a sunset caught on a trellis. And if you live anywhere near hummingbirds, consider this plant a live-action nature documentary waiting to happen. Because of its sheer vigor, you must respect the container boundaries. It requires a substantial pot and a support structure that is bolted down, not just leaned against the wall. It will test the limits of your space. But in exchange for full sun and a bit of discipline with the pruners, you get a tropical spectacle that feels far more exotic than the effort it demands. If the trumpet vine is a rock concert, number 7, Wisteria, is a symphony. This is the plant of dreams, the one that drapes old European cottages in curtains of lavender blue rain. The question is always, can you achieve that magic in a pot? The answer is yes, but with a caveat. Wisteria is a long game. You are not growing a vine. You are raising a piece of living architecture. It demands a large container, a sunny throne, and a support structure that could withstand a hurricane. The first year might feel quiet. The second year might test your faith. But then, one spring, you step outside to a cascade of fragrant pea-like blooms hanging like pendants, and you realize why people fall in love with this plant for life. Patience is the currency here, and the payoff is incalculable. While wisteria takes its time, number 8, the passion flower vine, is in a hurry to show off its alien beauty. This is not a subtle plant. The flowers are intricate, almost mechanical in their perfection, a combination of filaments and platforms that look like they were designed on another planet. It climbs with a tropical fervor, and in a well-fed container, it will scale a trellis with surprising speed. The butterflies will take notice immediately. And here is a delicious bonus. Depending on the selection, you might find yourself harvesting actual passion fruit. That is the 2-for-1 deal you rarely find with ornamental climbers. We are about to hit a gear shift in speed. The next vine, number 9, the black-eyed Susan vine, might just be the most cheerful and forgiving sprinter on this entire list. This plant is all about sunshine in floral form. Bright yellow or warm orange petals with that distinctive dark chocolate center eye. It is playful, unfussy, and grows as if it has a deadline. You can train it up a fan trellis or simply let it tumble over the side of a hanging basket, and it will produce a constant stream of color without complaint. The secret to maximizing its show is a simple pinch. Nip out the growing tips when the plant is young. This forces it to branch out, creating a denser, bushier explosion of flowers rather than a single lanky strand. If the Black-Eyed Susan is a happy tune, then number 10, Honeysuckle, is a love song from nature. There is a reason this vine is woven into folklore and memory. The scent is syrup sweet, heavy on the evening air, and irresistible to both hummingbirds and humans alike. In a container, honeysuckle is a grateful grower. It will wrap itself around an arch or railing and produce those clusters of tubular flowers in buttery yellows and coral pinks without a fuss. It is not a diva about light, handling a bit of shade with grace. But to truly soak in its magic, you must follow one non-negotiable piece of advice. Put the pot somewhere you walk past at dusk. That is the moment the fragrance becomes a physical, welcome embrace. We are moving into the steady, reliable phase of our list. Number 11 is the climbing hydrangea. Now, I know what you're thinking. Hydrangea? In a pot? Climbing? Yes. This is the marathon runner, not the sprinter. It uses aerial rootlets to glue itself to surfaces, offering a dense covering of heart-shaped green leaves and eventually broad, lacy white flower heads in summer. It is the perfect solution for that north-facing, shady wall where everything else just gives up and rots. Give it moisture and a sturdy pot, and it will reward you with years of steadfast green architecture. It is a slow build in year one, but the investment pays dividends for a decade. From the steady to the sprightly. Number 12, the sweet pea. This is the dainty, perfumed darling of the spring garden. Sweet peas are annuals, meaning they live fast and bloom hard. They scramble up netting with tendrils so delicate they look like green thread. The flowers are frilly confections in pastel purples, pinks, and crimsons, and the fragrance is an old-fashioned, spicy sweet note that fills the air around the pot. Here is the hack with sweet peas. The more you cut them to bring inside for vases, the more flowers the plant will produce. It is a cycle of generosity that keeps your home and balcony filled with scent for weeks. Now, let's swing the pendulum back to the tropics. Number 13 is Mandevilla. This is the plant that whispers luxury resort and poolside cabana. The foliage is glossy and almost plastic perfect, and the blooms are enormous, trumpet-shaped bells in shades of screaming pink or crisp white. In a container, Mandevilla performs like a diva in the best possible way. It demands warmth, steady drinks of water, and a steady diet of fertilizer. Feed it well, and it will reward you with a non-stop parade of those showgirl blooms from the moment the weather warms until the first chill of autumn. Just ensure the pot has good drainage. Those roots hate wet socks. We cannot talk about climbing without paying homage to the ultimate classic, number 14, the climbing rose. This is romance in a pot. Now, putting a rose in a container requires a bit of intentional selection. You want varieties specifically bred for smaller spaces or patios. These are not the rambling monsters that swallow entire sheds. Instead, they are compact, well-mannered versions that will still give you the deep velvet petals, the cupped blooms, and that unmistakable scent of a summer garden. Full sun is the fuel for this engine, and a good, rich compost mix in the pot is the foundation. The payoff is stepping onto your balcony and being greeted by a rose in full bloom at eye level, a view that never gets old. And now for a curveball. Number 15 is not just pretty, it's productive. Let's look at the scarlet runner bean. This is the overachiever of the vine world. It climbs like a maniac, throwing out bright red hummingbird magnet flowers all along the way. But then, if you play your cards right, those flowers turn into long, crisp green beans that you can snap off and toss into a pan with butter and garlic. It is a screen, a flower garden, and a vegetable patch all in one container. It thrives in full sun and asks only for a consistent drink of water. The secret to a long harvest is simple. Pick those beans while they are young and smooth. Let them get lumpy, and the plant will think its job is done and stop producing. Keep picking, keep eating, keep climbing. Approaching the final stretch, number 16, climbing nasturtium. This is the playful, rebellious child of the garden. Unlike most climbers that want to look serious, nasturtium wants to have fun. It sprawls and scrambles with round, lily pad-like leaves and bright, funnel-shaped flowers in shades of campfire orange and deep mahogany red. It is one of the few climbers that actively prefers lean soil. Feed it too well, and it gets lazy, producing all leaves and hiding the flowers. And the secret weapon? You can eat it. Both the leaves and the blossoms have a peppery, radish-like bite that transforms a simple salad into a conversation piece. At number 17, we dip back into the pure, saturated warmth of the tropics with the alamander vine. This is Bougainvillea's more refined, golden cousin. The blooms are not just yellow. They are a deep, butter yellow, trumpet-shaped and waxy, shining against the deep green foliage. In a container placed in a hot, sunny corner, alamander grows with an almost alarming speed, creating a vertical column of sunshine. It is a heavy feeder and a heavy drinker during the summer blaze, but the visual return is a luminous glow that makes even the most boring concrete wall look like the backdrop for a travel magazine shoot. And now, we have arrived. You stayed for the 17, and here is the reward I promised. The bonus plant, Sweet Autumn Clematis. This is, without exaggeration, the freight train of the climbing world. It grows with an almost terrifying velocity. You can almost watch it move day by day. And just when you think it has covered every inch of the trellis, late summer arrives and the entire green mass erupts into a foam of tiny, star-shaped white flowers. It looks like a cloud has settled on your balcony. The fragrance is light, almond sweet, and carries on the breeze. It is the ultimate space transformer, turning a cramped patio into a secluded bower in a single growing season. The only catch is, you must be brave with the pruners in late winter. Cut it back hard, almost to the ground. That is the signal to the plant to wake up and do it all over again, bigger and better. And there we have it. 17 of the most container-friendly, sky-reaching vines you can grow, plus a bonus that proves size doesn't always matter when you have speed. If this lineup has sparked a vision for your own outdoor space, show your support by hitting the like button. That small action is a massive signal to the platform that this kind of deep-dive, practical gardening knowledge matters. And if you haven't yet, become a part of the MI channel community. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You will not want to miss what we are planting next week. Before you go, tell me in the comments, did one of these vines call your name louder than the rest? Or maybe you are already growing one and have a secret trick to share. The conversation continues down there, and it is always the best part of my day. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Happy planting, and may your walls be green.